I saw you back in San Diego talking about this, and it sounds like you've had an interesting 18 months or so from this time you started writing the script to actually getting to here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should begin by saying I'm new to all of this. Before this, I was a management consultant and an economist, so this is a very new sort of space for me. I did write the pilot, and it got ramped up pretty quickly. We brought on some great people like Ron Moore and Linda Obst helped develop it, and 18 months later, we're shooting, so I feel very lucky.
Yeah. Now, how was the experience, I guess, just getting together with Ron Moore and getting the show pitched to Syfy and things like that? How did that work out? Was that a smooth process, or?
Yeah, it was shockingly smooth.
Yeah.
Basically, we developed the pilot over at Sony, and they said if you could work with anyone, who would you choose? And I sort of threw out Ron Moore, almost the way a kid says Santa Claus.
Yeah.
They sent it over to him, and I was very, very lucky that he wanted to be involved. Cool. So that part was relatively quick. We got together. He really helped sort of design a lot of the backstory and the mythology.
Okay.
And so the show has definitely taken on some very cool elements since his involvement.
Oh, cool.
And we pitched it to Syfy. Maybe a month or two after, and again, they were interested, so it moved very quickly from that point.
Great. Now, how has the show, I guess now that you're kind of in pre-production now?
Oh, we're in production.
Oh, full production.
Episode 3.
Oh, great. So from the time you first came up with the idea till now, has the show changed a lot? Has it evolved?
Yeah, the structure is essentially the same. It's about a team of medical researchers that fly out to the Arctic to explore a disease outbreak, and each episode is a day, and by the end of these 13 days, we're going to know a lot about what happened. But where it's changed a lot is sort of the overall mythology. We sort of really developed the characters in some new, interesting ways that sort of all feed into this dominant story, which will spread across the entire series. So I would say some of that stuff has evolved a lot. To good effect.
Cool.
And Ron had a lot to do with that.
Oh, excellent. And I guess the premise is 13 episodes. Each episode equals one day, so it's basically 2 weeks. Now, how has that been, when you're confined to that structure? Has that opened up a lot of opportunities and probably a lot of challenges as well, I would suspect? Or?
I would say more opportunities than challenges. I think what's great about it is the pace is relentless. And knowing that the show will end 2 weeks after it starts, it really allows us to sort of plow through issues and get to them quicker than another show would. I would say certain backstories that might come out 2 or 3 months into a normal series, we're going to know them in a few hours. And some of that's simply because of the nature of the story. They're confined in the Arctic. Things are going to happen fast in general. And then sort of capping it this way makes them happen even faster.
Yeah. And I guess as far as, or obviously it's early days right now, but as far as season 2, 3, 4, have you got an overall game plan of where you'd like it to go, or?
Yeah, we do. I think we have some really exciting plans for it. But you'd have to watch the series to see how that sort of evolves. But it's going to become a much bigger story. While we start in the Arctic, it will become a story about survival and really the entire Earth. And that'll be fun, and we should see a lot of that towards the end of the season, and then go into season 2.
Now, are we going to be exclusively kind of stuck in this one location up in the Arctic, or are we going to see flashes of the outside world from either other people or via flashbacks or just other people involved in the organization? Or?
It's a good question. We're going to try to keep it in the Arctic Circle as much as humanly possible. We're not going to use flashbacks so much as we're going to use hallucinations. And the hallucinations will tell a lot of those kind of backstories that will lend themselves into the overall story in a great way. But we think that the confined environment actually plays very much to our advantage. That sense of claustrophobia and that sense of tension, it really works for our story. So we're going to stick up there for the first season.
The teaser trailer that was released a couple months back, it's very, very, very white, and it's very sleek, and it looks like it's a very high-tech environment. Is that what we should expect from the final product type thing? Or?
There'll be a lot of that, but actually the entire base has a backstory of its own.
Oh,
and
cool.
no, the entire show won't look that, because what you're going to find out is the base was sort of built to accommodate the needs of the people running it. So there will be a lot of different looks, and those looks will tell a different story as well.
Right.
So no, you'll see both.
And I guess this may want to give too much away, but
just yesterday I had to say,
I guess we'll learn more about why someone's put this base up here in the middle of nowhere, to why it's so isolated from the rest of civilization.
It's definitely one of the central mysteries of the show, and that's a reason to keep watching.
Well, I guess we'll just start with each of you. What can you each tell me about the characters for the show?
My character is a CDC scientist, and he's heading up the team who are headed to going to the Arctic to investigate a viral outbreak in a super technologically advanced, super secret biological research facility run by a mysterious character played by Hiroyuki Sanada. And so I'm headed up there taking a team to investigate this viral outbreak. And she is
His ex-wife.
yes.
And you're already there when he gets there?
No.
No, I come and give him the news. I need him to come and help me go up to the Arctic and try to get into this. So,
And I imagine that goes over well.
yeah.
Yeah.
For reasons unknown.
Well, it's what's interesting about it is that there's all these things that we really need to deal with, but there's also this huge outbreak that you have to deal with. So it's you know, it's complicated.
Yeah.
And yourself?
I play Major Ballesteros. He's part of the Army. He's an engineer, and he's going up there to help them assess the situation structurally and the treatment plans for their water and their waste at sea, and figure out how this virus might have happened and how it's getting out and how to contain it too from the military side of things.
Cool. Now, I guess since it is in such an isolated location where it's, difficult to get out and you can't go outside or anything, I guess, how did the characters, react with each other? I guess, obviously, you've got your own baggage coming along with just your previous relationship, but just in terms of, I'm stuck with these people, everything's exploding because of the outbreak, and we can't get out and get out anywhere, so.
Well, something about my characters that I've been having fun playing with is that I think she likes to be out. She likes to be outside, out in the field a little bit more. So being stuck in this place is sometimes a bit claustrophobic.
Yeah.
You can't go for a walk out in the Arctic, and it's you're stuck there. And you have to deal. So that's been an interesting thing to play with.
Yeah.
They're a gang of CDC workers scientists that have been working together. Like the team he assembles, including his ex-wife, they're all together. They know each other. I'm completely removed from it, and I'm just coming in to do my job. And so I don't know anybody. I don't really have any relationships formed. But one of the scientists I take a liking to. See how that goes, but my job is just to kind of focus on the reality of the situation. I don't have the banter that they have.
Yeah.
So I'm removed from the drama.
But there's no doubt this has been very quick from sort of
Claustrophobic. It's we're stuck in this base with a deadly pathogen getting around in ways that we're not, at least early on, that we're not sure how it's getting around. So I think the environment, it's actually very sort of smart that they set it in the Arctic in the first season, because it forces us to deal with each other and deal with the issue without being able to run too far away from it.
Cool. And I guess, how's the pacing of the show been? I understand it's 13 episodes, each episode equaling out one day. How has that pacing been? I guess, has it been challenging to try to, as it jumps around from day to day, or has it created new opportunities for the characters on the show? Or
we shoot fast. I mean, each episode we get 7 days to shoot. The pilot was 10, and every episode after the pilot is going to be a 7-day shoot schedule. So it's a lot of work to put in a full day's worth of activities in 7 days on television. In 7 days. So it is very fast, intense, and everything's happening, and you're jump cutting from thing to thing, and you shoot out a sequence, and you got to where you're coming from, and it is very fast paced.
Yeah. Cool.
It's incredibly fast-paced, but I think you were asking sort of how it affects the story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the day at a time thing.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I think it's incredibly conducive to exciting storytelling. because you can't. I think it keeps the writers focused. You know, it keeps us focused. It keeps the story focused.
I gotta think it's a beautiful day outside today. How do you get yourself in that mentality to like, okay, it's 24 degrees. Now we're in the Arctic.
Try being, you know, it's supposed to be outside in the Arctic,
Yeah.
in the snow, tromping around, 70 below, and it's actually probably
30 degrees,
30
Yeah.
degrees
plus lights.
Celsius plus the lights,
And plus
and you're in
clothing.
5 layers of goose down. It's
Sorrels
crazy. It's crazy.
I had Jordan in that wool sweater.
Oh my God. I mean, I took off my clothes at the end of that day. It was as if somebody had emptied a bucket of water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You develop a passion for sweating. when you
Yeah.
do these kind of scenes.
It's just odd. You're looking at the crew wearing shorts and tank tops.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
And some of them are like, it's chilly in here with
Yeah.
this big tube of air conditioning. We're like, no, it's not.
Story.
Yeah.